Oh god. So Dehya can use her skill to create a fiery sanctum that will launch pyro attacks when opponent takes damage in the area effect. Additionally, the characters within the field will have increased resistance to interruption and can transfer part of the damage they take as a continuous damage for Dehya to bear. True and real. We kind of know how she works. We did an analysis that was taken down. Lol. Fuck, she looks great though. Absolutely bang on look. Ooh, a bit of a long time on that last hit there. But not that big of a damage payout. Very slow. Okay. Like decent damage. What's the weapon again? Oh, that's not... E is not inventory. What's the weapon again? Crit rate. That burst of fire, probably going to be a good thing. Okay, duration's non-existent. Actually, yeah, they probably should have let you... Oh, you just have like a double use of it. No visual thing that I can notice that tells you that the skill proc thing is available. Yeah, the duration's kind of not there. Duration could be infinitely better, I'd say. Let's go for the infamous burst, eh?
You're dead meat. Buckle up.
That's right. Burst is like... And I don't like that it goes automatically. I don't like automatic bursts. They kind of feel weird. Automatic bursts are a weird thing. Because, like... I know it's slow. I do know it's slow, but it's still automatic. I just don't really vibe with it. It's a very, very slow... very slow thing, but, like... Let me control exactly, like, when the punches happen and where I send them. Because it's, like, for the most part, your targeting will be automatic.
You asked for it.
And so clicking and whatnot will get her to do more punches per thing. And then a big one at the end. But you have no control over the direction. I don't believe you do. I haven't tried. Hold on. We'll try how to damage mitigation bullshit in just a moment. Excuse me, good sir. Could you... die per chance? I want to try this again with some enemies. Thank you. Can you overly control it? It could do with better control. I think if it was like... This kind of attack would be really cool in like a, in like Terra's combat style or something like a gameplay where you have like all your attacks are based on telegraphs. So like BDO I think has that, right? Where everything is based on telegraphs and like something like Terra. I think that this ability works really well with that because like you kind of have to like fully either twist your camera or be very directional with it because it's a lock-on mechanic, right? And something about a continuous attack that has a lock-on mechanic. I don't know why. Kind of doesn't... It's not there for me. Its damage is okay, right? When you crit, obviously. She's gonna be the most C6 dependent character to be made good ever. Like, that's the only way to make this character work, is have her C6. If I remember correctly, her C6 is the one that actually makes her deal decent damage. Yeah, you get crit rate increased by a flat percentage, and then your crit hits increase your crit damage, so on and so forth. Right? Like it's C1 to C6 dependent, right? Depending on how like strong you want her to be. C1 makes her scaled with HP. They nerfed the percentages from the last time that I checked. I remember this was like 4 and this was 8. Or rather, you guys can barely see. The burst was like 8 and then the skill was 6, but they nerfed it slightly, and everything else is kind of like mediocre at best. Not important. Alright, but let's have a look, see how her absorption thing works. So we chuck this down. Okay, maybe not the best enemies to test it on, eh?
You asked for it.
Not the best enemies. Oh. Well. Whoops. No, my bad.
Look alive.
I don't want to be the guy who says practically useless, but practically useless, isn't it? I don't want to be that guy, unfortunately, who says it. But that is just the worst, like, pseudo-tank mechanic they've introduced, I think. The best part about it is the interruption resistance. But if you need interruption resistance, just run Zhongli, innit? like, really, just run Zhongli. This is not really a even near close replacement for anything like that. You wouldn't even really use it for the interruption resistance. It'd be the best you can get if that's all you have. And then I don't know, the damage mitigation was like, oh, not the damage mitigation, but the damage. I just think the way that I described it, obviously my guide or my analysis of the Dehya isn't up anymore because of Genshin taking it down. But the way I described and how I wanted her ability to work in the early days of when she was being talked about and being like in beta, was that I wish that when you put down her E, any damage taken in this is absorbed directly into Dehya, no matter what. So the active character takes no damage, and that damage is directly converted to Dehya. And then 50% reduced, and then she actually takes that damage. And so Dehya will be taking a lot of damage. And then that would kind of make her actually good in terms of being a tank, because of then her, like passive heal that she has in one of her talents, where if she's below 20% HP or something like that, she'll heal for 30% up to 50 or so, whatever. Or is it heal for 50% of her HP up to 80%, I believe, or something like that. So I think the way that I describe her and I wanted her to work was like infinitely better than how she actually does work. Because if both characters are going to take damage, no one's not taking damage, right? If anything, her skill is kind of like not bad, because it's less damage you are taking overall. But instead of one character taking damage, you now have got 2 characters taking damage. And if we really think about it, once you get to floor 12 of Spiral Abyss, where you're getting hit by a level 100 enemy, and essentially like one of their attacks is enough to like almost one-shot you, well, your main character is getting half HP, and so is Dehya in one attack. And so, you know, at that point, just run a Zhongli shield and get it over and done with, right? So, you know, it's not like a bad thing, the skill. I didn't want to paint it as bad, but it's like, it's not a massive bonus to have it. It's not an overly amazing bonus to have.
Let's get it on. You're dead meat.
But I guess she can still be used as a main DPS if you get certain constellations. I know she's kind of like underwhelming, but like I think just certain things. It's what character is she like? She was like she's like a certain character that just like kind of doesn't fit into the game's like gameplay loop. I didn't mean to go again. She's a character that doesn't really fit the game. Is essentially what I'm getting at. She doesn't really like fit in. What character was it? Give me a second. Character archive. Like Nilo before Nahida launched, right? Nilo before Nahida launched didn't really fit any kind of gameplay loop. it just wasn't a thing that you would try to do. It didn't really make sense. A lot of the stuff was clunky, and it's like you've got infinitely better options without like as big of a needed investment. And Dehya kind of just feels like that, and also she was added to the standard banner, so that probably the reason why she was added there is because they were like, you know what, we're just gonna write this character off as terrible and put her to the standard banner. Like, and I was about to say like Tignari, but Tignari is an actual decent character. Like he's an actual decent main DPS, Danger Applicator and whatnot. So it's just unfortunate that Dehya, such an endearing character, like story-wise and lore-wise, and actually kind of like enjoyable to have on the screen, such a character like that has gotten shafted into being like just the most underwhelming and mediocre character available. It's really unfortunate. But what are you gonna do? Like Mihoyo, it's not unknown to like fuck shit up. It's not an unknown concept for Mihoyo to just absolutely ruin something by accident.